Hi everybody in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. How are you? Don't bother adjusting your screen. This is what my office looks like all the time. Hi, I'm Tom Waters, also known as TJ Waters, and thank you very much for letting me come into your book club meeting tonight. I understand you're in a new venue, so I hope everybody's there, settling in and enjoying a beverage. I'm going to take up only about 15 minutes of your time per Rebecca's kind offer and tell you about my new book. What I thought I'd do is explain how this is all going to work and then kind of walk you through how I got to this point, a little bit about who I am and what my book is about. So first and foremost, if you look below the screen on Facebook, you'll see a little window that says for chat. If you'll unclick where it says post to Facebook, people on the outside won't see half the conversation, which is what typically happens depending on your privacy settings. But that way only we can see it, and I'd be more than happy to interact with any of you. For anybody who is surfing the internet superhighway and just pulled over to see what was going on, this is a live author event for the Portsmouth, New Hampshire Book Club. Feel free to participate, feel free to watch, but they come first. They get first line with questions, first in line for free autographed ebooks. So what I thought I would do is go through that. Anything you post, please obviously be polite, be civil. Well, let's not make Ustream or Facebook mad at us, because then all of a sudden everything goes dark. But with that, I think we can have a pretty good time with this, and I think you'll like it. So without further ado, I'll tell you a little bit about me. First off, who is TJ Waters? Well, that's a pretty easy answer. I am Kathy's husband. I am Rachel, Sarah, and Julian's dad. That's probably the most important who of who I am. Live in St. Petersburg, Florida, as I think you're probably aware, and been in, on, and around the intelligence community for, depending on how you want to do the numbers, between 12 and 15 years. I began in commercial intelligence and then transitioned over to government work not long afterwards. I worked for U.S. Central Command, which is where I am now. Spent 4 years at Special Operations, as well as 3 years with the Central Intelligence Agency undercover. Great line of work. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. But I am first and foremost a writer. I've been a writer most of my life. I've read about 25 articles out there. And in 2006, when I was still at the agency, I really got the idea for a book, and that was where the first book, Class 11, came from. It continues to do well. It's number 2 on the agency's list of recommended reading for new employees, so that, as you might imagine, helps quite a bit. The second book in 2010 was fun, and then at the same time, I put out a companion ebook that just kind of took off on its own. And ebooks at that point were just really beginning to emerge in a unique way, and there were a lot of authors like me experimenting with where this might end up going. Well, the book became wildly popular with troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. So the next thing I know, I'm invited on a USO tour. Here I am, this lone writer, going out with 4 football coaches from NCAA teams around the country. And we spent 10 days, about 20,000 miles, crisscrossing the Middle East, stopping in to see the troops. We began at Ramstein Army Air Base in Germany, which you see here, and went and visited the troops at Landstuhl Medical Center. And from there, crisscrossed the Middle East, depending on where we could get into. There was a little bit of fighting going on at that point. And that was really just kind of a unique thing for me. I had remarked to a friend of mine that I was going on the tour, and the coaches were going to be signing tchotchkes, jerseys, and football helmets, and things of that nature, footballs themselves. And I didn't have anything I could sign. My book was an E-only title, and he created a way for me to sign ebooks. So I started autographing ebooks for the troops as we were going around. Now, we were flying in a there's a little bit of background, in a KC-135 air-to-air refueling tanker, which is not exactly the Concorde. It's also not exactly first class. The interior is designed for cargo, and we were carrying 3 tons of it. All those football helmets and footballs and jerseys and university giveaways for the coaches to sign. So here we are, packed to the gills inside this plane. And as you can see, it's pallets literally on a rolling bed of the rollers on a floor to move the pallets in and out, and they're bolted into position. Well, all of us were cargo as well, and they had pallets that had the same sort of cargo-based platforms for the seats, and that's what we sat on for the entire trip. Not much of a view, as you can clearly see from inside the plane. The only view was really from the the tail section where the refueling boom is, or from the pilot's perspective up front. And this is probably my favorite picture from the entire tour. And this is autographing ebooks for the flight crew about 36,000 feet over Iraq. Really was something unique, and it really had a profound impact on me in a number of ways. Got back from that. My new book was coming out at that point. It was my first novel. I was very excited about it, and it came out in November. It did reasonably well. That was when Borders really began to have some problems. They were not paying publishers on time, and then they quit paying them, period. And as we all now know, it ultimately went under. So it was very difficult to get the book into stores. It was published by Gallaudet University. It was their first fiction, so it was mine and theirs. It was kind of a learning experience for both of us. But what was nice is it did win a nice award. I won the International Book Award for Multicultural Fiction. And as we continue to explore more with where ebooks were going, I got the idea that Secret Signs would really be perfect for an online video type tour. And when the ebook came out, that's what I should do. The whole premise of the story, the backbone of it, if you will, is based on systems like this. We've all, I think, gotten used to Skype, and certainly now with Ustream that a lot of the soldiers use. We've all used video conferencing. Well, I wrote a spy thriller around that sort of world. And it's been a lot of fun. And it's been interesting to see how people react to it. So one of the things we did when we first got started was we created a book trailer, which is very popular these days. So take a look at it real quick and see what you think. This is the book trailer for Secret Signs. Okay, not exactly Spielberg, I'll admit, but hopefully enough that you got the idea of the story. It is about a sign language interpreter who works in a video environment like this. One of the first questions that I tend to get a lot is that, all right, Tom, you obviously can hear. Why are you writing a spy thriller in the deaf community? And that's a fair question. As I said, I was kind of somewhat taken by the technology aspect of it. I could probably write something along what Tom Clancy would do, where it's very technical oriented, but I didn't want you to have an engineering degree to understand and enjoy it. I'm not an engineer, and that's just not the kind of fiction that I would want to read. But I was so taken by how a video interpreter does what they do. And I suddenly found myself literally surrounded by members of the deaf community, and being able to work with them and conduct a little research, as it were, made a big difference in understanding how that world works. And I began to piece together, sort of like Tetris, where all the pieces fall in place, what a spy thriller would look like in an environment like that. And part of it because I had a little help. The first one was a gentleman I worked with at CIA. He is a case officer. He came from the deaf community. He is in the first book. He is in my CIA memoir, but he is obviously not named. And they were very specific when that book came out to not identify him in any way as coming from the deaf community. He was fairly high profile and would be easy for members of that world to figure out who he was. So he, those details are fudged in the book a little bit just to keep his identity hidden. But I learned a great deal from him about that world and how he worked around in it. My second area of expertise came from this tall drink of water here. This is my younger brother, Rob. If you can read the name tape on his uniform, it just says DOC, Doc. He is a medic with the Georgia National Guard, 48th Brigade out of Ringgold, Georgia. Served in Iraq and in Afghanistan, and being a medic, as you might imagine, he tended to get shot at a lot, which was rather disconcerting to the family. Especially when he got hit by IEDs, improvised explosive devices, 2 days in a row in Iraq. I'll step out of the picture here real quickly, give you a better angle on the Jeep. That is Rob's butt to the camera. He's been showing his family to the world for years, so somebody just decided to preserve it forever in pictures. But as you can actually probably tell, he's helping a wounded soldier. If you look at the two gentlemen behind the door on the on the Humvee, they're helping somebody as well. Everybody in this vehicle did come out with only minor scratches, but as I said, the very next day he gets hit again. And as a result of those two attacks, he does have fairly profound hearing loss. Since he's been back, he's been diagnosed, he's getting some treatment, and he has the new digital hearing aids that have made a real big difference for him. And we're delighted to have my brother back. Third and final is my younger sister, who, if you read the book, you'll see it is dedicated to her. She has been an interpreter for a number of years, worked in community interpreting for at least a decade now, and as she moved from community work to part-time VRS work, I got to be a little more familiar with the technology. She and I actually did a conference several years ago for the Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf. It's the first time we'd ever been able to work together in a professional sense since we've been grown. This is from that conference in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is our hometown. So we both got to go home for something like this. I flew up from Florida, she drove over from Nashville, and that was the first time we had really done anything together in a that kind of sense since we've been grown. It was really fun. A lot of people that we grew up with came to the conference, and as I got more and more involved with the deaf community and met more and more people, I realized what an interesting way of telling a spy story this was. So what I thought I would do is offer for everybody here, if you would like a copy of Secret Signs, what I'm going to do is autograph it using Autography's new technology and send everybody an autographed free copy. This will be pretty simple. You can either get on the Facebook chat that it's set up now and just send me a note and say, please sign it to Alex and give me an email address, or you can email me directly at tj@tjwaters.com, and for the next couple of hours I will just continue to sign for anybody who would like a copy. When I send you an email back, this is what the email will look like coming from Autography. Quick cover of what the ebook looks like, and a big green button that says download ebook. Pretty simple. That will take you to my landing page on Autography's website. Again, you see my ugly mug on the right hand side there, cover of the book image at the top, and then you simply pick what e-reader device you have, whether it's a Kindle or a Nook, an Apple iPad, a Kobo, Sony e-reader, Literati, etc., and press at the bottom where it says download your personalized book, and boom, there it will come. I'm using a customized signature page for all of these. Again, Secret Signs kind of pulls in from the cover a little bit. I'm somewhat blocking the White House here underneath my image, but you can see the White House there pretty clearly. And then you see the hand signs on the left-hand side of the screen. And get a custom signature page is another neat feature of this. You can push it out to Facebook or Twitter if you like. I'm happy to give away autographed copies. My only request is, if you like the book, if you like the characters, if you like the story, please post something on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Goodreads, whatever you typically use for your interaction with other potential readers. As more and more bookstores are closing, social media like this is really the only way to get the story of a book out to a community of readers. And being able to use technology like this is, for me, a real thrill. So I see I'm starting to get some emails and some chats on my private line from Facebook, so I'm delighted with that. Again, thank you very much for your time. I see my 15 minutes is now exactly up. So I thank you very much for the opportunity to come speak to you. Please shoot me a note at tj@tjwaters.com or send me a chat on Facebook, and I will be autographing copies for the next hour or two, and look forward to your feedback. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoy Secret Signs. Have a great night. Thank you again.